Here we are with another next Sunday summer session.
Let's go.
With the incredible Jim Sheppard.
Uh-oh.
Last
and
episode.
the amazing Frank Bealer. Does everybody know who you are? You always introduce me, but nobody. Does everybody know who you are?
I don't know. I don't know if anybody knows or cares, but that's okay.
I do.
I'm glad you care, Jim.
You're here with me.
Yeah, that's it. It's it. Me and you. We got this together.
And we got next Sunday.
And last episode, I don't think you could have been any more clear about the heart work that pastors have got to do first if they're going to lead their people in the area of generosity.
Yeah. Well, and I think the whole idea, Frank, is all of us have struggles. We have areas in our life where we are trying to maybe emerge from a struggle and find a victory.
Yeah.
Right? And I just think for me personally, if there's an area in my life that I'm struggling with, I want to identify somebody who's had a victory over that and find out, hey, what did you do to overcome this?
Good.
Because the chances are really good, really good, that whatever we're struggling with in our life, in our faith, in our ministry, there's somebody else who's been through this and found victory, and it could be helpful.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good, Jim. Today, we're talking about the shift that has seemed to take place that many pastors and leaders acknowledge, that it feels maybe harder than it used to unlock generosity, to kind of guide their congregation in the area of generosity. So we thought we'd just have a brief conversation around what that could look like today, the reality of that, where that's showing up, where that's positive, negative, how they can kind of evaluate and have that as insight this summer as they're going into the fall to lead their congregations. Yeah.
Well, the shift, there's several things. First of all, I think it is, and much is written on this about pastors' mental health, and it's just harder to pastor than it has been. But then you add this in there, and there could be a number of reasons why. I think for me, I'm always going to go to anytime you have something that you have not paid attention to in a long time, and really been focused on resolving it, when you do go back to it, it's going to be hard at first.
Yeah.
And I think for most pastors and most churches, this is an area where inattention has been the predominant reflex there. And where there's not inattention, then the attention has been with a voice of transaction, not transformation.
Right.
Which is equally unhelpful and causing issues in trying to overcome this. So in our first one, we sort of tried to identify, hey, pastor, it starts with you. We've got to help you resolve the issue within yourself. But now, if you've done that, then you can move on to this. Why is this so hard? And what do I need to do to get it started?
Yeah.
Right? And so it could be either inattention or the attention I've paid to it is with the wrong language. There could be some other things, but I see those two really often.
Yeah, it feels like inattention just seems to be at the top of the list.
Oh,
I was with a pastor just last week, and we were going around. We were doing a strategy day, and what a privilege to get to go sit with the church and talk through kind of current state of the union of
fairly young church, if I remember
giving.
correctly.
Yep, and evaluate kind of where we're at, where we're going, what we've built, what God's doing, what seems to be obvious, what seems to be complicated, and then where are we going from here? So are they ready for a major generosity initiative? We're just reflecting on it. And early in the strategy days, I love to ask the question, say, hey, what's your name? How long have you been here at the church? Your role, and one thing you hope to get out of today, okay? And I tee them up with that. Let them ponder for a second. They know they answer the first couple questions. That last one might be a little harder.
Hopefully not the first two.
While they're doing that, I'll introduce myself or any team members, give them time to think about it. Then we go around the table.
Yep.
And at this specific table, we had, I don't know, there was a dozen people in the room or so, okay? So it was a good room. Some trustees were there, senior leadership, a handful of other leaders, the finance team. It was a good group. And we go all the way around. And since I started, I just turned to my left. Well, the senior pastor's on my right. So he's going to be the last one to go, which I try to construe that so that everybody just doesn't say what he said or what she said. Right. So let's steer it that way. So we go all around. And everybody gives good insights. So we're pausing a couple times to talk about things. And we get to him and he goes, hey, I just need to be clear to everybody in the room. This is on me. And we hadn't even started yet. He said, I have no doubt that we're going to get under the hood, and we're going to have many things that we need to improve on. I've not given this proper attention. To be clear, it is our responsibility. I know it's my responsibility to lead this. We've not given this attention, and I've got to figure out the right way to give it proper attention without it suddenly feel like our church has changed. And so it was so encouraging to me because I was getting ready to give them some information that was going to be potentially discouraging on where they were at with some things and some room for improvement. And for him to say, hey, we've not given attention to this, but I'm in. I'm ready to lock in. I'm ready to do this. We've got some work to do. So let's do it. And so I think to your point of inattentiveness, there are those that thought they've been doing good enough, and then they're surprised that maybe we had some room for improvement in all areas.
Yeah.
And then there are others that are like, no, we've just been prioritizing other stuff, or I've not wanted to deal with it, and I'm ready to lock in.
So I love that conversation. And then there's this, Frank. There's what I call false signals.
Okay.
That things are actually working well. So in the transactional mindset, far too often, a church will measure success based on whether we've reached our budget or not.
Oh, dear.
What did you say?
That is,
you know where I'm going.
Oh, I know where you're going.
You know where I'm going.
It frustrates me so much.
And think things are going well because we hit our budget, and then you and I look around, and there's 57 people carrying the weight of ministry, and another 1,000 people who are giving a little bit here and there. Now, I know that seems a little bit extreme, but it wouldn't be crazy for us to see that kind of a thing.
No.
And so you and I know, no, you're concealing the fact that the real issue is being masked by these false signals.
Yes.
We've hit budget 5 years in a row. We've grown by 5% year over year in budget. Great. But your attendance has grown by 26%.
Right.
What does that say about it? Right? And so there's false signals that indicate all is well. And here's what I want to go a little further. It has a generational component to it because I'm a boomer. I know that's probably obvious to everyone, but I'm a boomer. And then the seniors before us, we were taught well. We come out of an institutional mindset, if not more than that, where we learned to give, and it was our responsibility. I'm not saying this is right, but we gave significantly, and you can still see that in many churches that have a lot of boomers. Those boomers are carrying a disproportionate share of the weight, even acknowledging that younger families may not have the margin that older families have. I know that. But it still shouldn't be as unbalanced as it is. And so, another false signal, the weight of an older generation might be propping up the fact that you haven't discipled your younger families well.
Yeah.
And so, budgets and then generational discrepancies. And they conceal the fact it looks like you're doing well, but underneath your discipleship is like this deep. And now you've got to go tend to that.
Yeah. My fear is that we've gotten so good at budgeting and forecasting that there's very little need for discipleship in the area of generosity. And I think we all need to be stretched and grow in this area. I think all of us have room for improvement and need to slow down to take the time of, are we discipling a generation and or generations in the area of generosity? Because there is no one else going to be held accountable for it. It is the church's responsibility and no one else's to help navigate this and help grow our people in the area of generosity. And so it's on us.
Yeah.
And so just because we've gotten really good at budgeting and really good at forecasting does not mean that we're leading our people well.
Yeah, it's why, thinking beyond that even, it's why when we do our initiatives, we always have a segment that's directed toward the students and toward the children.
Right.
Not that their money is ever going to change anything that the church does. That's not even the point in the first place.
Yeah.
We want to sow seeds of good, faithful, biblical stewardship in their lives at a point in time when they're younger and more receptive to it. Because here's what you and I know. You'll never tithe on $100,000 until you've learned to tithe on 10.
That's right.
If you can't give $1 when you're making $10. It'll just be more complicated for you when you make $100,000 or whatever the number is.
Right.
Because here's what we know. Here's what you and I both know. Money, more money, only makes you more of what you already are.
Oh, wow.
More money only makes you what you already are, more of what you already are.
Yeah.
The greedy person becomes more greedy and the generous person becomes more generous. I've watched it over and over and over again. Money makes us more of what we already are.
Yeah.
It's like an x-ray and it reveals what's going on inside of our heart, which is why it's such an important discipleship issue.
Right.
Because it's like, doing a heart exam on the table with your doctor. You get a reading, and your giving gives the pastor a reading. And so, that's what when you're trying to deal with this, it's going to feel hard if you haven't been paying attention, if you've been speaking transactionally, if you've been paying more attention to false signals than real signals. All of these things are going to make it harder for you to resolve, but not impossible.
That's right. That's right. We've got to have an honest review of our finances, where we're at, where giving is coming from, understand where people are growing and not growing. We can do that by demographic. We can get a lot of data to help us take action and know where our weak areas are. So we may not be weak everywhere. My cardio is a little low right now, so I can't run very far. If I don't like to run, period, unless a bear's chasing me. But my cardio is a little light right now. My strength is fine. Okay, so and the gym, depending on what activities I'm done, it'll show up or not show up. But if you did an overall fitness assessment, you'd see where my gaps are. The same could be true with our finances. To go, okay, where are we doing really well? Where are we not doing well? And so let's just have that honest conversation, because we'll see that, oh, I'm being carried over here, but I didn't realize this was such an issue. For example, you may feel like you have a lot of new givers and be tracking that. But I will say this, I have yet to see a church not consulted by Generis, okay? So one that we've come in on, that on their board reports included new givers and lapsed givers. I've never seen both on one report. That's right. We see it afterwards. And that can be a great learning to say we're doing better or not better in this area. There could be room for improvement. And then we can evaluate all the giving bands and demographics. There's so much data we can use to help us diagnose where we're at and where we need to start to work. And so for me, I probably need to level up from walking a mile to starting to jog. Like, I just need to start leveling up a little bit. That's an area of improvement for me.
And that's a lesson for pastors.
And I could crank up push-ups right now, right? So it's like, okay, what do I need to focus on? I think the same is true for pastors. So this summer is a great time to get a snapshot of where you're at, so you're not like, I just got to fix all things generosity. That's probably not true.
No.
You're probably not weak in every area. Maybe you are. Hopefully not. But there's probably some areas in room for improvement. So what are you doing this summer? Here's my question or challenge for the summer session, is to go, what are you doing this summer to better understand what's happening in your church so that you can better serve them going into the fall?
Yeah, to pay attention to the real signals, not the false signals, and then react to that and say, what do we need to do from here? I love that idea.
That's so good.
Start a little careful, quiet jog, and then just work up speed from there.
Let's see where we get to.
Don't let it just stay where it is. The status quo is not working for you, Pastor.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. And that's what we're always seeking on next Sunday, is we want to shake up the status quo in a redemptive way, help you think about things in a way that you've never thought before, that might help you to make just maybe a little bit, maybe even in some cases a lot of progress in a particular area. And that's always been our goal here at Next Sunday. We don't mind ruffling feathers, but not just for the point of ruffling feathers, but so that we could shake up the status quo. And what you do next Sunday could change everything.
Hey, download that workbook. I think it'll be a good resource for you. We'll see you again real soon.